succeed in your work, we have trouble. We got issues. How's that? Yeah?
I don't It's so distracting. It feels like it's so overkill.
Exactly. So, but do you now understand? What you just said is a very important aspect of this whole class. So if you understand what's filmmaking and what's social media, this is what's going to happen. If you do work for social media and you put it into your film, it's going to look rubbish. But if you concentrate on the language of film, then you make film interesting and worth watching, and that's how you get paid a lot of money. Yeah? It's not that instant 30-second film, oh my God, I got 300 likes, yeah. Not that stuff. Yeah. So you have to understand that. So that's why when I ask you stuff like this, when we look at editing per se, editing is all about feeling. Editing is control. I always say if the editors are psychopaths, like he knows, like, if I just give a little bit of this and just that, and then I pause that tension for a while, let them rest, let that heartbeat rest, like, it's not gonna appear. And now switch it maximum. The crowd's gonna flip, have a heart attack, kind of stuff. So if you can control that, you're God. That's why the best editors are the guys who knows how to feel. Who feeling is involved here. So that's why I ask people, like, you sure? You don't look like an editor. You look like a producer, like, hey, do that, do this, and get that. Right? Okay, so tell me about you. You said you made a movie.
No, I didn't make a movie.
I thought you made Out from Disney. And like, wow.
No. It's more of like I work in a family business, a restaurant, but my boss, aka my dad, he likes me to do lots of he likes to do lots of filmings and actions. So I'm usually the one on screen. I'm not the one behind the screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
An actor now. Just so she's just making it out.
Because I mean it makes sense because like they always say I'm the face because I'm the boss doctor, so I have to kind of like, put a game like yeah. So I've always like meddled with a little bit of camera. My dad got me on my own camera, but I usually take more pictures than videos. But I do like to learn the concept of videos because I find it very, very cool. And I read quite a number of books also about filmmaking and screenplay and all that stuff. And I find it interesting. I did take up a course for my diploma in media and film also. So I did learn a little bit of storyboards and stuff, but nothing in depth about like her, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Stop comparing now. You guys on the same class. First day.
Just saying like from what she shared, yeah. And yeah, and then we only did like two types of videos. One is a 3-minute long and one is a less than one minute long only. So it's like an advertisement video and a short, and a short environmental video like Go Green and stuff. Then it's 3 minutes long, talks about the duration, and there's different pen shots and all that. We study a little bit of that, and then far shot, near shots, more of that, yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot what is the term, but yeah, those the lines along that line.
Okay, so what did you like about this whole process that you're going to be doing? What do you think you're going to enjoy?
I do see myself in a group setting. I like to be the one acting. I like to do that.
That's work.
The other one is I also like to tell my group mates on like the ideas and brainstorm things of like story making. I like to do that. Yeah, cause whenever when I was younger, I always go to speech academy and all those. I always write one of the most interesting, like you said, I wrote a horror story from my head, but through inspiration of those like famous I think I've learned about high concept or something. Yeah, those famous movies. Yeah, then I created my own like haunted house scene in my head, and then the head drops and
That's you.
suspense and all that. Yeah, so I like that, but how to do it, I'm not too familiar. So that's why I want to.
Okay, cool. All right. So if given a choice, a role that you would enjoy, what do you think you would enjoy besides acting?
Besides acting, I guess directing.
Directing? Cool. Because, well, if you can bring your imagination here to life, that's vision.
Yeah.
It always starts on a piece of paper with rambles, drawings, this, that, cursors, and whatnots, and everything else that comes with it. And then it formulates into a process called the pre-production. So in this particular class, we will go through the pre-production stage. So there will be 3 stages that we go: pre-production, production, and post. The only challenge that I foresee is because I was hoping a class of 40. Then it'll be more fun because then you can fight each other out. But there's somewhere here, we just don't know where.
40 chairs.
Yeah, I was not going to say that. But the good part is, you get a little bit more my undivided time than chairs, which is not in place. But I want you to be able to challenge yourself. So what's going to happen for this whole duration of time that we're going to be together? There'll be times when we watch movies. And then we write about movies. What do we like? What do you think the hypothesis is? Or what would you think is the tree-arc structure that goes on? What is the conflict in each individual people that we find? What drives the film? What builds momentum? Stuff like that. So once we understand that, first thing, you're going to hate watching movies with anybody. I mean, people are going to hate watching movies with you because you're breaking down movies. That's how I lost a lot of girlfriends and friends and whatever. It's like, hey, check this out, it's a wide shot of that. And pick everybody else. Yeah. So that's going to happen because you got to learn how to work backwards.
It's like a technical term.
Yeah. And then you have to be able to wear both the hats of a filmmaker and also the audience. So there's always a two-way that you got to flip around when you want to think, oh, if I did this scene right here with this particular shot, for example, how would the audience feel? So these are questions that is constantly hitting you all the time. So we're going to try to see if we can take that out of you and be able to answer. So what I usually tell students on first day of my class is that there's never a right or wrong in this class. It's all about preference. So if you think that I can justify this preference, I want it to be this way because I want to hold them that way and then do this and then come back like that. It's fine with me. So it's not a math class. So 1 + 1 can be anything you want. Yeah. So most importantly is I want you to be able to just throw out your creativity and go nuts. Yeah. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the whole thing. A lot of students that walk into this class usually because shit, this is gonna die. And they try to be a little bit more reserved. And I tell them, no, because that's the only way. If I watch you make a mistake, then I can tell you, hey, you know what? Why don't you try this? I will never tell you, do it this way. No, I won't do that. I will always tell you, what if we try that? What if we do this? How should we move this to that? Then it becomes fun for you as a learner instead of, my God, this classroom is so stressed. Yes, it will be stressed. The stress is not because of me. Well, sometimes I can be very stressed. But the stress is always because in media, what do you think is the most important thing that we work for? That we have to adhere to?
All the
What is it? It's time. It's time. The news always comes on at 9 o'clock. Remember? The news never comes on 9:51, 9:01, or 8:59. No, on the 9th. Take 12, it goes on. Right? It goes straight on. We work with that timing. So the duration for this project is short. Don't try to overcompensate. Like, oh, but teacher, it's a project. No, because once you start thinking that way, you'll always be the student. You'll never be the filmmaker that you're supposed to be. So timing is something that we need to really adhere to. Yeah. So there will be certain days when I tell you, oh, it's coming up rough cut. So we gotta meet your rough cut. We gotta meet your fine cut. We gotta meet your final cut. Stuff like that. We got pitching. You know what's a pitch? No? You're there probably.
Yeah.
Huh?
pitching.
Yeah, you got to pitch an idea. So you got to sell an idea. So the biggest problem students always do is, I would like to make a film. And the film is, no, you have to think about that these are producers sitting in front of you. How do you hook them? How do you make them think that your story is the best in the world? It's selling, not telling. A lot of people tell. You must sell. So we're going to do some of that. That's the earlier part of it, where I will sit and one of you guys will sit also because there's 2 projects that's going to go on. If there were more people, I could put pairs together. But the idea of this whole project is I want you guys to work with each other. Although you're producing two separate videos, no, four separate videos actually, but you just work with each other, so you know that, you can depend on each other. Will you kill each other? Yes. Okay, but the idea of that killing is because you have ideas that wants to be heard. And you're just finding ways to reach out. And sometimes reaching out in this industry means screaming, stabbing, and punching in the face. And at 12 o'clock, hey, let's go lunch. What are you trying to eat? Coffee. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll go. Yeah. But take it as a professional hazard that you have. It's not that you hate somebody, but it's just that you want to put your point across. Okay. So these are things that we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit more with cameras. Do you have a camera? Do you have a DSLR right now? Good. Do you have a DSLR? Yeah, no, not now.
Oh.
I'm not that kind of idiot. But do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because when we get to that stage, I'll tell you, hey, bring it. Because the school's camera is used by very, very too many students, and they are not used; they are abused. So certain buttons refuse to work because they're abused. So I don't want you to be in that position. So I want you to be comfortable with the equipment that you're going to plan to use for this project. Then you can do better stuff. All right? Okay, cool. So now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? All right, so oh, you guys were a little late, so I had time writing stuff down. Yeah. So we are going to do a 10 minutes documentary. And a 5-minute film. They are connected. Okay, what does it mean? That means if you do a documentary about, let's just say, Karang Man, right? And then your film here would be about the individual, the Karang guy. It's just as simple as that. Okay, so this is something that we have to plan. But now, when you sell me in the pitch, it's 2 ideas. One for this, one for this. In a documentary, what do you think is the most important thing that we need to know? Everybody says the story, but the story is before the birth of that. Subject, yes. But what about the subject? If you say, like, for example, Karang Guni, what about Karang Guni do you want to know? You know what I mean? So, just to make your life a little bit more easy, because the last class that had documentary with me, they flipped. So, in order to get your documentaries right, you must always have your hypothesis right. Do you know what a hypothesis is? So why do I have to watch your documentary, for example? Why do we watch the Karang Guni? Because it's a lot, it's a diminishing trait. When was the last time you see somebody say, Karang Guni? Have you heard that before? Yeah. But how many times in a year do you hear this voice as often as you used to? I used to, as a kid, would sit in the hallway and like, oh, here comes me making money. Like whatever in the house that my mom don't know I sold, I'm gonna take it and sell it to this guy. That's a business transaction for me, right? And I see him every now and then, but today I don't see that as often. If they did, they would probably be at a car park honking their little bullhorn going, bah, 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 right? It's not as before. They would literally carry walking down step by step. And the idea of that is that would the new generation, what generation is this now? W? Z? What's your generation?
Gen Z.
Z? So I'm X, right? I'm not a boomer.
After Gen Z is like millennials.
I'm a boomer. No, I'm not a boomer. I hate it. I'm an X. Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm still cool, right? Don't laugh. Don't make your grades go bad. No. So you're Gen Z, right? So Gen Z, would they do the job? And that's how this documentary is born. The idea of a person who is a Karang Guni man, and would this generation be able to do that job? If so, yes, and if yes, how would they change the way Karang Guni now looks? What is the evolution of Karang Guni man into Gen Z type? What do we do? Now, we sell those We have those shops that do second-hand stuff, and we buy stuff and we put it at the windows, and kids go and say, like, oh, what are these toys? Right? Thrift stores, right? So is thrift store the new way of Karangoni guys going around collecting, buying, selling, and then changing it? So if you see it that way, then the hypothesis is what has or how has the Karangoni evolved, right? So then your hypothesis is right. So when you sell that idea to a producer, it will be like, what do you think is a Karangoni man to you? And they'll be like, I don't know. Well, think about this. Growing up, did you hear this? Blah, blah, blah. And now, what do you think the evolution of that is? It's as simple as that. So now, let me ask you another question. What is graffiti to you? Art. Me, vandalism. My time, vandalism, get arrested, throw in jail. Yeah. Today, they call it art. Do you know how many guys of mine who was like, hey, remember back in the days when we got chased by cops? Right? We go back home and we still get yelled at because we smell like fresh paint. Right? You know, people had nice fingernails, we had lacquer. You know? So you see, these are things that you can talk about. And you go to Haji Lane right now, you see all this beautiful thing, right? If we did that, there'll be the death of us. They'll stone us to death. They'll throw us in a lockup and never let us out, throw away the keys like a can of sardines in there. That's what's going to happen. So let's change. So these are certain very important things that you can do to tell your stories. So when you sell, pitching, that's how you do it. A lot of pitching mistakes by a student is pre-production, production, 10 minutes video and 5 minutes. They're talking here, they're not talking here. So I want you to be confident. Pitch, sell, look me in the eyes and, you know, brief a little bit. Don't hold your breath. You will. Yeah. Now, film. How do you come up with an idea? How do you interest somebody there? Tough. That's how tough the industry is. You know why? Because every unique individuals like you know what they want their purpose. Yeah. And in order to make a film, you have to think new ways to attract that audience. Because back in my days, boomers and before boomers, they were stupid. I'm sorry, they were stupid. You know why? Because they didn't have the internet, they didn't have the luxury of information at their fingertips. Today, you guys, it's like teachers said that, like, no, Google said, blah, 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 blah. Right? And the teachers become stupid. And you're like, I'm much more clever than that. Yeah. So when that happens, you have to understand that when you sell these ideas, there must be a hook or some sort. There must be something. For example, Romeo and Juliet. Anybody knows Romeo and Juliet? What's it about?
Okay.
That's the simplest thing ever, right? A guy and a girl will bound to fall in love. How they fall in love is a different story. How much torture? Yeah, that's the way the stories change. Can it be in space?
In Spain?
Space. In Spain, everybody could.
Space.
No, why not? Star Wars was there. No, they could fall in love. It's the story, the character behind it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's just changing part of the things. Yeah. So, for example, Fast and Furious. Do you think Fast and Furious had an element of Romeo and Juliet? Of course there is.
There is.
There is. Paul Walker and that girl. Michelle Rodriguez. Right? You didn't watch Fast and Furious, did you? I like cars.
Yes.
I watch a lot of cars. I'm a very bad person with cars.
A few weeks back.
And I should don't want to know. Just kind of old only, that's it. Still a young heart. So you have to look at all these ideas of stories where all these bits and pieces comes in. As human beings, what's the one thing that we love? What's the one thing that we love? In a show, not in life, in a show. Just I have to be specific with this one. What is it? Very good, exciting, what else? Scary, dangerous, there you go, sad, all these things, right? All this combination is potent in making a film explode. And the most important thing that we, human being, love is drama. Hey, what happened to the guy in the girlfriend? Really? What? I didn't know, but he was so cool. And she was, and all that come out, right? Because we love drama. So you have to create the dramas for them. And who's them? So the audience is your biggest jury. If they love you in the first 1 minute, they watch. If they don't like you in the first 1 minute, switch. And today's television, how many channels do we have? Exactly. Right? You've got your Netflix, you've got your Android boxes and all that stuff, right? Right. Your weekends are no longer boring. Unlike mine when I was growing up. Oh man, today just finished this. I gotta wait 7 days before the next one plays. What happens to you guys? And 7 hours later, oh, I think I'm fat. Watching television, right? And then you come on class on Monday. How's your day? I'm so tired. I said, oh my God. What you do? I binged the whole week. And did you not move? No. Hold on, let me brush off the popcorns. Right? Because I've seen that happen with my students. Because I told them, I said, this is the only class, your homework is always watching movies. So now you've got an excuse to tell your parents, like, I have to watch television. My school says so. This is the only time. So you better use this to your advantage. Yeah. So once you understand that, making a movie, making a documentary becomes a little bit more interesting. Yeah. The only difference that you must understand in this two of this context is that one's fictional and one's non-fictional. So once you understand that part, it's a little bit clearer now. So documentary can be staged. Yeah. Right? Right. So can you say that again, like everything, same thing, the way you said the first time, because the cameraman was sleeping. It's not gonna happen, right? So you have to be sure what you're listening to, what you're looking at, and in order to know that is to understand again back to your hypothesis. Right? So these are the things that we are going to go through and do. Now, pitching. We have a date, right? Anybody got the schedules on right now? So I can ask you for dates. I mean, not ask you for a date, but ask you for dates for this. Yeah? So pitch, I would like to have it on tomorrow's one more class and then the next class. Yeah, next Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, what date is it? 10th? 10th of 11th of 25. Your pitch. Okay? Two ideas. Okay, now when's the last day of class? Oh, man, that's so far. 22nd. 22nd, 01/26 is presentation. Okay? And then one class before presentation. Twenty something?
Is it the last class, then 23rd is the assignment due date.
So then 21, 20.
22nd is the last day of class.
Uh-huh.
23rd is the next day, which is the assignment due date.
23rd is an assignment due date. So that's the one till 12 midnight or something, right?
See the time.
Okay, good. That's not a class. Okay, so this is well, technically this is your presentation. When you finish and the next day you submit, just in case you got to make changes and stuff. So before 22nd, one class. 21. Okay, one class before that. 19. Okay, that sounds a little bit more sound. This is fine cut. Okay, one class before 19? Very good. So 14/01/26 is, okay. So these are some deadlines. So in between all of this is consultation. So that means you can come and say, hey, Mr. Imran, can we do this, this, can I try that? And yeah, you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to consult. Okay. But the most important is pitching, 10. Okay. 14/01 is rough, 19/01 is fine, 22/01 is presentation. So do you know what the rough cut is? Rough cut is when you have all your works, but you have not put it into play yet. That means it's not cut through looking at your, what do you call this? Storyboards and whatnot. It's still very raw. You just put it on the timeline, like on your DaVinci or your Premiere Pro, and see how it works out, right? So that's where you show me the whole long yard. So for example, if your documentary is 10 minutes, but you have 30 minutes worth of stuff, it's fine. Because that's when you start cutting it and getting to your fine cut. So your fine cut is after you've seen this and you can cut it properly, you get that. And this is the part where now you fine tune it tighter. That means, do you need proper music? Do you need narrations? Do you need to do some color corrections? Minor this, minor that, in order to get to your final presentation. Final presentation, you present your work. Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to my presentation. Today, I'm going to produce 2 videos for you. I am from blah, blah, blah production. And today, documentary will be about blah, 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 blah. And then you play, you watch it, clap our hands. I grade you. You're done. Then you play your film, grade you again, you're done. Simple, right? Not so hard, right? Good? Okay, now. Concept proposals. Do you know what a concept proposal is? Anybody? Don't be shy. I only have 2 of you, okay? Now, you're just changing words around me. Very good. I'm going to minus points from you for doing that. Go on now. Find another way. This is Jeopardy. This is a concept proposal. Proof of concept. Okay. So when it comes to proof of your concept proposal is the most important piece of document you must have. Why do I say that? Anybody who wants to make a film must have it. And it's in your head. I have an idea. Remember this, you telling me, I have an idea. Yes, that's a figment of your imagination. It's not a concept yet. A concept is well thought. The concept is really understanding why we're going to do this, how we're going to do this, who's involved, where to shoot, what to buy, what to pack, what to steal. All of that comes into play. Right? So a lot of times students, they do this. Sure, I have a plan. I'll tell you on the last day. Produce it and I'll give it to you. And they produce it one day before last day. And then they present it and then they fail the next day. Then I see them again next semester. Say, congratulations, your proof of concept did not work. Okay? So a concept proposal is basically a resume for your work that you're going to be doing. So this is very important. A lot of people take this for granted. So what do you think happens in a concept proposal? First things first, your particular film, let's just put the film first, it's easier. Film, you probably need to have a log line. Right? So it's a story of a guy who meets a girl, or, you know, Google, what's the log line for Beauty and the Beast? Try Googling what's the log line for Beauty and the Beast. What does it say? LOG, not long line, because oh my goodness, the long line is fishing. I know. What is logline for Beauty and the Beast?
Princess is imprisoned by a fearsome beast in his enchanted castle and must learn to see past his exterior to discover the gentle prince within, all while his servants hope she will be the one to break the spell before the last petal falls from her enchanted rose.
Very good. Do we know where this location is? Good. Do we know who the actors or the actress is? No, but what do we know from this writer?
Like who is involved, like
Like, what kind of, a princess, did you say?
Princess and the Beast.
So there is two persons are involved, right? A princess and a beast. So now you know that your cast, we know your cast has got two persons, but we know the situation that is one true love of some sort.
Yeah,
So that means in order to be normal, this beast must fall in love before that one last petal falls, right?
Yeah.
So now you see the story already?
The beast is the prince.
Yeah.
He's enchanted.
Yeah. So now you see the location is the castle.
Yeah.
What kind of castle? Enchanted. So that means the word enchanted here, anything can happen in the castle. So what happened in the castle?
Few meetings.
Huh? Man, you watching the wrong Beauty and the Beast. Did you see the teapot running around with this
oh
and
yeah,
that?
that is.
Yeah. So let's just stick to Disney, let's not go with the wild one. Okay? So you see what I'm trying to say? The log line is important. That's your opening statement. The opening statement that somebody reads, that means the producers who wants your idea is reading. What do you think producers do when they come for pitch? They already have a set of ideas in their head that they want to produce. That means the production house has said, okay, look, if the story is about this, get it. So you need to understand who you're pitching to. Okay, so your log line is very brief. It doesn't give the opening, doesn't give the closing, but it gives you some sort, a little bit of a teaser. Just reading it short. Students make problems with that by writing composition. Like, yeah, write the whole story in there, then I have to read. For what? Stop. That's the hook. Remember, the log line is your hook. The next one is your synopsis. Synopsis is when you give a little bit more detail, but not so much, just enough for me to turn to page 2. Okay? So you see, that itself tells me that the story is interesting. If I go way past log line and synopsis, that means I like your work. Okay? Now, next, what do you think would be something I need to have? Always remember, script. You will write a script. You will discover that your generation is blessed. You know why? My generation, we had a ruler and an A4 page. Okay? We had to measure 2 inch down, 3 inch off the left, blah, blah, blah. Now he said this, now translate to that, now 2 inch off the side, blah, blah, blah. And by the time you finish 3,000 pages, you don't want to do anything with production then. But because your generations are clever people, you have this very free cell text. CELTX. I want you to check that out. Okay? Check CellText. It's a free software that allows you to do 5 pages, which is great because your film is 5 pages. 1 minute, 1 page. Okay, so take that into consideration. 1 minute, 1 page. All right. So once your script is done, I always tell students this. Remember, whatever you do, get the script done first. You have the script, you can build the story on storyboard. So no, it's no longer just an idea. So the next one is always your storyboard. So just put this, make things easier for everybody. Yes? Now she's finished. Father's gonna like, what's wrong with my daughter? Big problems. Yeah. So storyboards. Yeah. What is a storyboard? But sure, you know, you don't, well, Stigman's fine. Look, like I said, I'm not here to judge or be Pablo Picasso with you guys. But what I want you to understand is, in a storyboard, the most important part is, let's just show you. So this is your storyboard, right? So usually that's one A4 size, there's six of them, and they've got 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. Right? Right? What's important is not what's here, technically, but here, the description is important. It means you need to understand your 5 types of shots, your wide shots, your close-ups, your extreme close-up, your point of view, your over the shoulders, stuff like that. Then you can write this. Why? Why is this important? Remember this. Sometimes you're human. Well, most times. When you get sick, when you get tired, you're the director and you cannot make it to set. This guy here is going to serve as an instruction for the rest of the guys to do when you're not here. So the clearer your storyboard is, the clearer the people working for you can do it. Yeah. A lot of students, they don't. They draw fancy stuff and they expect me to guess when they're not here. Like, yeah, what's this? Yeah. If you ever get confused, do you read Chinese comedy magazine? Lao Fu? No. No, you don't read Lao Fu. I love Lao Fu. Because that's the only free stuff I can get from the barbershop. And I would read there, and because of the actions, they're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could understand what's going on. It has to be, it means storyboard. Make it as clear as light, so that you can do it when, they can do it when you are not. So this serves as an instruction for the rest of the team. Because if you're not here, everybody's just like, nothing to do. Hang out now, 1 hour, $100, just smile. 8 hours means $800, right? No. Brings you next to your budget. The scariest part of this whole thing. What I want you to do since day one. You are responsible for everything. Not your dads, not your moms, not your friends, not nothing. You. And you don't have anything. But yet, when I was doing editing, I used my own computer. I was so freed up. You don't know. Remember, keep it that way, because remember this. Once you learn how to master the money, people take you seriously. This is something I'll tell you. Because if you ever get a job as a producer, for example, a producer is a person who produces. And the person who produces know how much money they need. Right? If every producer said, it's okay, a car, never mind, I can use my car. House, I use my house. Camera, yeah, my friend got 1, got 2, we use that. So how much do we pay for, how much do we ask for a budget from the client? Nothing is free. Remember that, nothing is free. Your specs, your shirts, your shoes, everything. Even this room that you sit in. But you already paid school fees. Exactly. But you paid for the education. You didn't pay for the property that you're going to be shooting in. So you got to find out. For example, I'm going to shoot in MDIS. What is an average property that I could rent within this area, the cost? Let's just say you take the opposite property. It says $1,000 for a month, right? So let's just say we take that rent and we put it here. And then we're going to shoot here how many days? 5 days. So when you divide it 30 days divided by 5, you get yourself a decent number, right? So you can use it. I want you to think that. Roger, my DaVinci is the free version. Don't tell me this. Will you tell your client, hey, nobody save you money, some free? No, you want money. Because if your phone happens, for example, your laptop crashes, what are you going to do? I need some more money. Buy my laptop. Crash, you cannot edit really. I'm not going to entertain you. But if you know how to put $10 here, $50 there, $60 here, $70 there, 1,000 there, 1,002 here. If something happens, you got to spend money running around. So always plan your budget with 20%. Yeah. So because you rent a room and it says 1,000, don't say it's 2,000 here. Yeah. You're going to shoot a 5 days. Yeah, no, I'm shooting here 15 days. Do they know? No, they would think they're going to come down to the set like, where are you guys at? Like kindergarten, but they would trust you with the money. But if you can show them the breakdowns, The favorite thing that student likes to do? Sure, miscellaneous 500. Miscellaneous of what? A sharpener, a handy plus. Yeah, just in case something happens. What if it doesn't happen? Never leave holes where people can think. Because as soon as you produce, the first thing they open, sadly, this is the reality of the industry. They don't look at your log lines, which is a very beautiful capturing, blah, 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 hook. They look at how much money you want first. And then they look at you. That's the reality of this. On 1,000, page 2, 500. But by that time, you only need 200 to make. You still got 300, right? Because you hide all the monies in there. Okay. Who wins? Okay, so budget, be very important. Everything that you can think about, put $1 to it. Never say it's free or my friends or my mother's house. I've seen that much. Okay, and then you have talent, right? Who would be your talent? And in talent, you have talent development. Why is this person suitable for your tools? This is where somewhere here is casting. You're cast for people. You have to understand why they're supposed to be in your job. So how do we do casting? You arrange one day within the class time, right? And before you do that, you probably advertise on Facebook or friends, or whatever. You say, hey, can you just like come to my school for a second? I just need to put a video to it. You just smile and act your part, and I give you a script. I role play as a director, and I tell you whether I would like you to be part of it or not. The idea behind the casting is to know what you want. And when I watch casting, I usually, I enjoy the comedy that goes around. Like, just pretend my teacher looking, yeah. And then you know, I want you to tell them exactly. Say, look, here's the script. I want you to take 5 minutes just to go to the script and see how you feel, and blah blah blah. Now, once you are ready, present it. So you have to tell them. That means as a director, what do you need to do? And in direction means, how do you control the directions? What do you want? That means if there is a feeling involved, I want you to be sad and then say, how sad? That's the difference, yeah. It's like one time I had a student like, you're supposed to be scared. Like, how scared? You know, just scared. And this person was like, scared. Yeah. And then they're going back and forth. It's like, look, do you like cockroaches? No. Well, there's a flying one coming up to you now, that frightened. I want you to be that scared. That ultimate ballistic. Means now I know whether you can go crazy or not. Yeah. And then I flip the script. Now I want that same energy. Why do we do that? We want to see how flexible they can get with their character. So if there is a need for you to switch, having a person who understands this makes it simple for you to direct your own better. Where do we get talents? It could be Facebook, it could be student actors, which is so much on the online. Yeah. Can you compensate them? I had one time the student said, teacher, she wants like $50 an hour. Bro. Tell her you can give her a portfolio. And of course, the student was wanting $50, like, huh? Yeah. It's an agreement between two professionals at an early stage that you need a portfolio, I need a video. I'll give you my best expertise, you give me your best expertise. It's a trade. And in understanding and respecting this trade, it will either pay off or shoot someone in the foot. But whoever is directing has to control. Yeah. So you need to control. So now, once we look at talent, we also look at release forms. What's a release form? What's a release form? I release you from all curse. The release form is basically a set of write-ups in context in which the author or the actor allows him or herself to be filmed. Why is this important? Because let's just say, and this has happened because I had a student who saw, Superga, the shoes, one of the straps, yeah. A student of mine made a very cool advertisement for Superga, and Superga bought it. Superga was very impressed. I had one for Superga and one for Converse. Yeah. So Superga was so into it and said, hey, look, we want you to make the same one, but now we have a bigger budget for you. Can you do it like the same storyboard, same everything, but we want, of course, our choice of actors, actresses, and whatnot. And the student was like, hey, teacher, how much should I ask them for? I don't know. How much do you get paid? And by this time, if that ever happens to you, you understand the value you bring to the table. You're not just a student anymore, you're a professional. He started out by telling them that he wants 10 grand for 3 minutes. I said to him, 3 minutes work, remember 3 minutes work, and the amount of work you're gonna put in is 10 grand needed. I said, yes. And I told him, she's I would ask them, she's and they would have paid. Because you got to get the crew, you got to get the cameras. Now the budget that used to be like my mother's camera, my mother's laptop, now it's real money now. You can ask for real money. Yeah, so that means you can get paid. Yeah. The release form, what it does is that because of this Superga thing, and they bought the idea and this guy got paid, the actresses that was in Superga, the first Superga, was not happy. He only gave me like 3 chicken rice meal. Because they were students who were like, I'll feed you. I'll give you a thing and I'll feed you. And his biggest mistake was he didn't make them sign the release form for the idea to be sold. So I said to him, the only way to cure this is you got $10,000, you got 2 actors. So tell them like, look man, they only pay me $5,000. I can give you 500 each. I was like, we call it quits, we sign on papers and pay. And I said, yeah, that's how you, if you did the first time around, you won't have that problem. So you want to show it? Trying to say? So release forms, where do we get it? Thank you, it's free. But the only difference is that, please read them. I had one time students send me in releases form and the video was shot in Singapore, but the release is in New York. I'm like, I talk to is somebody gets sued. Yeah, so you need to understand the importance of your work. Okay, release form comes in 2. One is the talent release form, another one is the location release. Okay, both also online, free, but read the clauses. Okay, now location release form. Teacher, I'm already a student at MDIS. Do I need them to blah blah blah? Yes or no? You're a student in MBIS and you want to make a video, do you need a location release? Yes. Because you paid for education, you didn't pay for it. So, for example, with Nandini, you can be like, hey, can I just send her an email, say, I'm a student of blah, 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 I'm going to do some videoing in the school. Can you please allow me to do so? Usually, right back, like, yeah, no problem, same part, okay, blah, blah, blah. But you must understand the factor that you must always know the difference between public and private spaces. So, for example, you're going to shoot in East Coast on the pathways, private or public. Botanical garden, private?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yes.
Yes, and yeah. You go in with a small camera, they find you. Bring a tripod in, they stop you, they ask you for your data. So, yeah. But be very careful. Although you're in public spaces, In Singapore, we have PDP. Yeah, people running around, do you think they want to be in your film? And if they happen to be in your film, what happened? See what I mean? Yeah, so you have to be very careful in those aspects. So these are the small law stuff that I want you to understand. Okay, for all that. Now, in script, you have your main script and you have your AV script also. What's an AV script? AV script is basically, once you have your script, this is number one. This is number one. Once you have your script, you can make your storyboard. Okay. Once you can make your storyboard, you can bring out your AV script. Your AV script is basically, this one says here, wide shot or something, close up or something. Your AV script is number one, wide shot of something. It's like a checklist. Number two is blah, 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 blah. So AV means audio or video. So in audio, what do you say? In video, what did you do? So when they pair it together, these three always go together. They always go together. Right? So you have your log line, synopsis, blah, blah, locations. Yeah. Location images. Where are you shooting? Things will come around the way when I think about it. There's a lot of work that needs to be put into the proposal. Now, for your pitching, what I would say, if you can, come up with the log line, the script, and the synopsis, and these three things in your budget. How much do you think you're going to spend? Where you're going to shoot? Who's your talent? If you can put like 3/4 of all these out, then no problems. Yeah. The one that I think that you will have a little bit of problem is your script and your storyboard. Because drawing and writing. Yeah. So it's easier if you start doing your film first. It's easy because it's fictional. You don't have to plan. But now, that's just for your concept for your film. But if you do when you do your docu, you have to think about the placement. Docu, they'll be almost similar, but the difference that you will do is instead of script, you have a transcript. In order for the transcript to happen, you must first do your interviews and your questions and whatnot. Okay, and you must have your open and close questions. How do you open? How do you close? Okay. Once the people, when you video them and they answers you, that's when your transcript happens. So it goes backwards. Okay. So that's as much as you have, and then of course your hypothesis. The hypothesis is like your log line. The difference is one is proof and the other is not. Okay. So we'll watch, for example, The Kid Stays in the Picture or documentary. We'll watch maybe Eileen Wuornos explain on Netflix right now. Charlize Theron was really transformed into a proof. I was like, hey, I'm not looking at it the same way no more. Yeah, we'll watch Roger and Me. If you know Michael Moore, when he first started as a documentarian, he was the poorest guy on the planet. Today he is doing Fahrenheit 9/11, Mac and Me, and all these guys. So he forgets what's a documentarian, but we'll watch him when he's basic. Yeah, we'll watch stuff like that. And then if you have certain movies that you think that you want to bring to class and watch it, please bring it so we can watch it and break it down. Okay, so think of something interesting like I will try to bring in. Do you know who's Antonio Banderas? Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, before it was made, it was called Al Mariachi, and Al Mariachi was produced by Robert Rodriguez, a very famous director who did Spy Kids. Okay, he will show you, I will bring that in, and you will see the original form of how things are made and the backstory as a director's cut on how he made it with one camera and a broken lens and no money. And he got the whole town involved and sold the idea to Miramax that made millions after that. And then he started becoming a director. He's a very good friend of, what's the guy from, what's the other? See, he's a prick in my head. The Dawn of the Dead. And it will come. Yeah, so we'll watch guys like that, and if you have interesting stories, we've watched so many crazy. I had Japanese films, I had Korean films, I had Chinese films, Indian films. Have you watched Three Idiots before?
Yes.
That's really cool, isn't it? There's a lesson to be learned from the Three Idiots. Yeah, so yeah, so we watch stuff like that. Where if you have a variation of stuff to watch, your application towards making movies is, and that's what ultimately we want to. So this course about advanced storytelling, yeah, is to understand that. Once we're done with all this, then we go into your production. So before we go into your production, I'll teach you how to use your cameras. What is white balance? What is white balance? Yeah, that innocent look. Don't look at me, chill, don't look at me. I've seen this a lot. And then they like to look up, like, you know, and I'm like, where's this answer coming from? Yeah. So white balance is something, for example, if you take a picture and your friend looks at Barney, She-Hulk. Have you seen that before? She looks purple, green, Pikachu sometimes too yellowish. Yeah. This is when the camera dictates what it wants to produce. But if you understand your camera, there's a way of controlling those settings to make sure that what you see is what you. So if, like, for example, I'm a little brown, red, whatever you call it, yeah, and you guys are in your own individual 10 colors, everybody should be individually lit instead of a blanket color going. So this is what my band says. We'll talk about depth of field. You know what's a depth of field? Yeah, when the background is blurred out and the front just stands out. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that we will try to do. You will do small skits where I tell you, okay, shoot 10 shots. Just do that. See what you come up with. Bring it back, edit, work under pressure, shoot, edit. Put it up. Let me watch again to see your mistakes. Okay, do it again, do it again, do it again. You must understand this. I am not torturing you, but the only way to understand filmmaking is to do it. You have to do it. Okay? That would be my daughter of some sort. I just finished school. Can I go hang out? Yeah. So these are the things that you need to do. So on 10, if you can somehow manage to pull all of that, well done. If there's gaps in the planning, it's fine. What I want you to understand is the way you sell it. Be convincing. Be really convincing. Yeah. Biggest problem is people don't believe in their work and they leave gaps in their mind. That means if I ask you a certain question, but what if this happens? And then you go like, I haven't really thought of that yet. Think about every single thing that can go wrong. And that happens. Give me 1 second. Because it beat more than 4 times, so that means there's a problem somewhere. Chotamata. She sends me a picture. Dear God, help me. She gave me a heart attack. I got 40 out of 50 for my composition. And my math, I got 40 out of 50. I gotta spend money for a holiday. It's bad. That's why that's how fast kids update their stuff. Like, since I did well, I want this. Right? Bad for my health. Okay, so this is what I need you guys to do. But now, just have an idea. Look at all these things. Do you think it is heavy? Do you think it's heavy? It is. Yeah. So whenever we talk about the production stages in filmmaking, I can tell you this, and I will always remind my students. Say, look, the first pre-production stage is the heaviest. This is where 70% of the work is. 70%. It means, for example, if you didn't plan your budget right, you're going to suffer because where are you going to get the money? You didn't hide money, right? You didn't plan 30% off. You're going to suffer here. If your storyboard was not right, when you go for shoot, and then suddenly, we should have shot that, we should have shot this, we should have. What if? Don't. Make sure you rock solid here. if your script, you didn't break it down, like I want close up here, wide shot here, this and that, this and that. Instead, your close up, your storyboard was just wide shot, wide shot, wide shot, wide shot. That's a Zoom. Remember Zoom? How many of us was in class during Zoom? I was. I don't know about the rest of the students. Teacher, my camera spoiled. And 3 hours later, and everybody's up, he's still doing that. I'll never forget that guy. So stupid. I was talking to him like, oh, you know that. So please understand stuff like that. 70% of the work is in the stuff. If you don't have crew, your crew. In your crew, remember this. Okay, you have 5 people. Who are your 5 people? Your crew, you have 5 people. Always have 5. So your first one is your director, right? You. You have your DOP. You, director of your guy. Feel my pocket getting lighter and lighter. Editor. You. Okay. You have a sound guy. Sound guy, by a sound engineer. You. You have your what do you call this? Producer. You. All these guys need to get paid. All these guys get paid here. Understand? So when you plan your budget, you know how students like 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay, it's not that hard. But the reason behind this is that, remember, if you go out there and you decide to do stuff like that or employ somebody like that, you know where to go. And you know how much the rate is. Yeah. So I want you to think that way. I don't want to think, please don't make it think that, oh, that's the hassle, there's so much goddamn paperwork. Yeah. Someday you'll thank me, someday you hate me for it. But once you get it right, that's going to be a bulletproof plan because you know what you're doing altogether. And where I see this come true is that some of my students who are now I have students in Facebook, in BBC, well, MTV is going to close, but they're still there. They're in MediaCorp, which they hate so much also. You want to go somewhere else? I have guys in HBO, yeah. So they tell me, and sometimes when I go to MediaCorp, when I walk in, it's like, hey, Mr. Imran, 5 different live shows. Hey, Mr. Imran, I'm not in class no more. I said, yeah, but you remember, right? Yeah, good. Yeah. So the idea behind this is that anybody here, if you know where to go, for example, find their rate cards. How much does a director cost if I want to? So if your dad was going to make something and said, we should get a director. 1 second, you just find it. Yeah, it's going to cost our budget, blah, blah, blah. So do you want to do that? Or do you want to take that same budget and let me do it? I can direct it. You pay me now. And that's how you extract money from your families. I can do this, you pay me. Don't worry, half the price. 70 price. Yeah. 70 price. Yeah. So these guys must go there. References. So whatever you think that you're not sure, references. I don't understand what is the 5 different types of shots. Google it, put it in a reference. Okay. The one thing that also needs in this, which is separate, is this thing called ethical log. Is basically just problem and solution that you encounter, write about it. That's it. The more you have, the better your development. A lot of students think that this is, they wait till the last day and then decide to write 10 weeks or 20 weeks of work. It's not going to help you. Every day, just put something in this small paper there or your doc file that you encountered this, and then you can elaborate later. Because what the uni likes also is to see how students develop based on the problems encountered. Maybe you have solutions through me or solutions through something else. Use them. Yeah. So you understand what's going on. Okay. But this is, well, I would just say do it a week kind of thing. At the end of the week, right? Say, okay, Monday I had that. Write point form, so it's later on you can just elaborate, so it's easier for you. Okay. So you see, 70% is that. Once you get all that correct, if you get this solid, how many percent do you think is your production? %20. 20%. Because whatever that needs to be vomited, it's all done already here. All the headaches are here. You go to production, take out your storyboard. Okay, first camera from here, we shoot wide, and after that, actor walk from this point to that point. Second actor walk from this point to this point, and then we cut, and we go to close up over there. Third shot is over there, looking back over the shoulder. Everything is in your storyboard already. You're just doing bam, 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 bam. But if you didn't do any of this, you'd be like, hey, go back again. The actors from where? Walk through here. And then actor will be like, where you want me to walk? You're wasting time. But if you plan everything correctly and you know what you want, it's very, very fast. You will see 10 minutes video or let's just say 5 minutes video. You can do it less than an hour because you know what you want. Okay, we do some coverage shots from here a little bit more. Okay, I just want a B-roll here. I want an A-roll there. Okay, got it. Okay, good. Tick, 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 tick. Okay, done. Okay, next, move on, move on, move on. Push, push, push. And if you have different location, that's for example. So location number 1 is classroom. Classroom in storyboard is 1, 5, 7, 10, and 15. In that day, 1, 7, 5, 10, and 15, all done. Tomorrow, outdoor. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, outdoor. You don't go like, oh, this we go out, and then we come back in, we go out, we come back in. You're wasting time. You're opening up, tearing it down, opening up, tearing it down. So you're working fast. I'll show you some samples of concept proposals that you can look at, and I'll play you some videos and stuff like that later on, and you'll see student works. Yeah? So 20%. Once you've done all this, 20%. And then left with your 10%. 10% is your edit, your post-production. It's the easiest part. You know why? Because your storyboard, as we said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you go to the editing board, take 1, take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and play. It will play your movie already. But if you didn't have that, you'd be like, don't go here or don't go there. And if your post-production becomes 90%, bye-bye. It means you killed it. Not in a good way, but you killed yourself. You know what I'm trying to say? Because you don't know where it's going, what's it doing. So that's why I always tell people, in storyboard, you will see the most important thing. Information, motivation. Information to push, motivation to go along with it. That's what the audience needs. If I put this shot here, why? Always question it. Why? What does it do? And if you ever find yourself in a position like, what am I doing? Remember this. The camera is the eyes of the audience. The audience cannot tell you, can you show me a little bit more? They don't. But you need to be reading that. Like, if I show her this, I need to show her a little bit more from here, here, here. So every time they see a gun with that says, Smith & Wesson, I know that. They will know now that that's the information for the killer. Look at movies. They teach us you something. They keep telling you, like, if you see this, Kill Bill. Anybody watch Kill Bill? Oh yeah, who made Kill Bill? I mean, it's in my head again. That's the guy, that's the best friend, Robert Rodriguez. So if you watch Kill Bill, right, how do we know when the bad guy comes? Think. You said you know. Think. Huh? Yeah. You see what I mean?
I was like, is it what someone said something or what? Yeah, it's a song. Yeah.
Every time he whistles, he walks in. Right? If you watch horror, it's always looking at the window, something walks past, right? Then you're like, something, part 2, something's coming up. Next thing you know, right? It's the same thing. It's the same way. That's all what we call information motivation. You can give that, I'm telling you, you can raise hell and control it at the same time. And that's the beauty of an editor. He must be able to see the vision like, if I show this right now, how much scare am I getting? Or can I just relax a bit? No, let's just shift it aside like that. Let's see how it feels now. And that only can happen if you shoot extra stuff. So you see what I mean? So if you thought all that in here in storyboard, if we shoot this, can we just shoot this too? Just in case we want to use some extras? Shoot more. Don't shoot Just what you need. Shoot more. Get coverage. People walking, people smiling, people saying, blah, 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 blah. Yeah? And then you do that. And once you get it right, editing is 10%. And if your editing has got 20 dissolve, you know how to do words like dissolve, and effect, dissolve. That's a PowerPoint presentation. That's not a movie. Okay? Because the best movies, like I say, if you watch in a movie, you don't see the dissolve, 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 right? You don't see that happening. You just watch naturally and then like, hey, that was a good show. 3 hours of my time. Well worth. Right? So you have to ask yourself, how do I edit? And every time you ask yourself that, just say, it has to be invisible. And you like editors, right? I'll give you a tip. If you have some time, go look at this thing called the L and the J curve. This is the edit that we always see, always, but it's not new to you. It's not akin to you. It's a very simple way of either I give the action first or the audio is first followed by the action. They always do it. And that's how smooth the edit is. It's the simplest. The simplest is the cut next to each other. The next is the J and the L cuts. Get that, you can make anything look good. Okay? So these are something that we're going to do, but I will do it on the second class where you sit down and then start planning what you want to do for an idea first. Brainstorm your ideas. Tomorrow's class, we start class, which is documentary. Okay? Now, anybody wants to go for a break? Please say yes. Okay, good. Come back in 15. Okay, so need to stop my talk so much. Well, you got no mercy for the teacher. No, we can go, we're good. I have to decide how much money I have to spend. And the mother says, you did your best. Oh, for Chinese, I got 45 out of 50 now. I'm in serious trouble. There's always paper two, right? That means I still have to worry. Let me find the samples for you guys.
Teaching material.
Target audience and potential client.
Which I will explain later why it's important. Okay, so thank you for your break and welcome back. I hope you guys had a nice break. Okay, so before we run with, I'll show you one sample of work, so 2 videos. I'll just recap with you what your module is trying to do for you, okay? So it allows you to build upon your filmmaking and storytelling practice within the context of your filmmaking roles. So what does it mean is that it wants you to understand how to make and how to use your creativity to build those stories in the positions that you're in. What are the positions that we are in? Basically, your 5 creative positions, which you are for. Okay? You will get the opportunity to increase your knowledge and expertise through production of factual and fictional films. So it's both. The difference between factual and fictional is that factual is your documentary. The documentary toughest part is going up to somebody and say, "Hi, excuse me, can you tell me a little bit more about blah, blah, blah?" How do you do that? And how do you instruct people, working with people who can give you that safety? So when they talk about that, right, especially for your documentary, I want you to think about something that affects you today, not yesterday. Don't think about anything else, but something that is affecting us, your generation, or something like that. In those points, I think it will be easier. Yeah, and then for your fictional, find something that connects back. Whatever you do, it must connect back. Both of them must connect, fictional and non-fictionals. All right. You will gain sight into similarities and difference between the two filmmaking process within the context of storytelling for an audience. Working in a group of 4 and 6, I've got 2. Yeah, you will take on the task of producing a 10 minutes documentary and a 5-minute fictional film. Total is 15 minutes. Nothing more, nothing less. 10 minutes, nothing more, nothing less. They'll tell you that you got 30 seconds overrun, but once you do that, you always give yourself an excuse to overrun. Don't overrun. Stick to the point. Okay, because always remember the news comes on at 9, ends at 9:30. That's it. Okay. Class time for fictional will take place. Well, this is for the university over there. Your screen rough cuts for your film prior to deadlines. Throughout the module, you'll be given support to develop and realize your project of all stages. You will also receive guidance and instruction on new equipment and software to assist. So we'll go through basic stuff. So if you have, for example, what do you guys want to edit in Adobe Premiere? Would it be better, or CapCut or something? Or I don't know. You figure out what you, huh? Okay, but I'll give you the benefits of that. But what I'll do in returns to that is that I'll give you the idea of edits, so that you can see how your edits can come out a little bit more better. Yeah, how to edit in a more efficient way, faster, getting to the stories, for example. Yeah, and when it comes to the camera, instead of, for example, biggest mistake that everybody make is holding on to the action to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when you can get into cuts faster to the action, stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, each student must take a different role of each film. So again, in your case, you will be 5 roles. Producers, that means you're producing all your works, all your resumes. Yeah. Editors, you'll be editing your own work. DOP, at certain times where you need somebody acting, especially in your film, somebody's going to be in front of the camera. You will be the person managing your cameras. Okay. You must be able to justify how you use the camera. That's one thing I want everybody to know. It means if I did this, you can explain. I did this because of this. This is basically a white shot of this. This is basically a close up of that. So the idea behind that is that to not only role play, but to understand what's been happening behind the camera. Okay. All right. Each student will be given a different role. Each group will be expected to deliver a presentation prior to production of each project, stating your story, themes, visual, sound, and editing approach. So this is something that you can add on to that later on for your, what do you call this? Where is it just now? Your visual, sound, and editing approach. So visually and sound, how do you do that? So for example, I chose this particular background music for the sake of blah, 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 blah. So in my documentary, there was narration. The idea behind the narration is because it pushes the story better, for example. And in that, I pair it with a background music of sort, because it also motivates the narration instead of downplaying it. So when we go through sound, I will tell you, like, basically there's 3 types of sounds. Yeah, your background music, your sound effects, yeah, and one more is your dialogue or narrations. Okay, so we'll look at all that stuff. Each member of the team is expected to contribute and communicate how they will approach their role within specific stories. You will be expected to show documents like schedule, so schedule needs to go in there. Your mood board, your mood book in there, your budget, storyboards already. Yeah, you will be expected to work with a greater autonomy throughout the development and realization of your project. It is essential that you manage your time well so that you reach your required milestones. So the required milestones we have, so 14, 19, and 22, and 10. Yeah, 10 being your pitch. On the day of your pitch, I usually tell students to wear shirt and pants and shoes, come and present. Everybody is given, for example, 10 minutes. Is that okay? But the idea about 10 minutes is that if you bore me in the first 1 minute, I say switch. So again, the idea is to understand how to pitch. So if you've not done or never come across a pitch before, try talking to yourself in the mirror and see how convincing you are. But if you want a little bit more in-depth to that, remember, everybody was once a child. And remember those days when you were a child, when you wanted something for your parents? You will tell them, this will make me the best student in my class. This will make me the most outstanding student. If you give me this, I promise you, till the day you die, I'll be number one in class. Remember all the promises you made? Pitching is just something like that. Only a little bit more problem. But the persistency is equivalent. Okay? So now, you'll be expected to do that. You are free to explore the subject and stories of your interest with the following caveats. So let's just see what's that. First tools are both fictional and documentary film. Your group must be connected in either character or contributor's conflict, story, theme, or location. For example, fiction film could be a dramatized take on your documentary contributor story. So for example, again, like I said just now, if you did a Karangoni Man in your documentary, so your film can be the life of this person who's now a superhero. Wanted to. Yeah. The documentary must be based on a portrait based around a singular contributor whose story is happening in the present. Okay. So I've had very interesting stories coming up for documentaries. For example, you know where Chinatown is, right? You know why all the old uncles always gather together? Have you ever seen them like all sitting together, smoking and doing things together? Huh? What are they doing? Huh?
Like they
I like that. Really, Malaysia now. Okay. I think I use the word lepak. So that person that was my student was Mexican, and she was a journalist. So she said she went shopping during COVID. She went shopping during COVID. Mind the word. I went shopping right, during COVID. Yeah. And she went to Chinatown, and when she was there, she noticed that a lot of people who doesn't care about this mask and whatnot, they were just hanging out and they were playing chess. Chinese chess. And they were so adamant, they were so colorful, they were so they were showing their, and all that stuff and their happiness and everything like that. It was so fun to look at it from far. And through the eyes of a normal observer, a Mexican, all people having fun playing chess. Right? What do you think is happening? I told them, observe a little bit more. From a different view, huh? Beautiful. You're still looking from a very innocent point of view. They were gambling.
Oh, you mean Chinese chess game?
Yeah.
Gamble with anything.
You can gamble with anything.
Like,
My dad's a nice guy. He doesn't gamble. Yeah. Let's just keep it that way. Okay. This spoke about me. Yeah. So they were gambling.
They were gambling. And then, because she was foreigner, she could slowly inch closer, closer. And to the point she was sitting next to the guy watching things going on. And then she said to the reality of it, she said, I can't believe it. You were right, they were gambling. There was a lot of money on the table, like 50, 100, 100s. And they were playing. And they were really angry. One of the guys wanted to punch somebody, but I was still there. But because they did not Singaporean, they didn't find her a threat. And they invited her, like, yeah, watch this game. This game is going to be good. And she took notes, this and that. And to one point, she said, can I bring a camera? Right? And she said, no, it's just for me because I'm going back to my country and my people never see. My old people, they don't see like you guys. You guys are rock stars. Way off, infiltrating. Got the shots, got the pictures, got the videos, got everything. All she's missing is sending all of these guys to court. But why do I say that? Because documentary is still true. It can be used as evidence in. But what she did was, she wrote about it. She wrote something for a magazine for Mexico, and she built a story around it. Right? And then when she made a film, she made about a story about a guy who's got two sides of the coin flip. In the day, he's just a normal guy. In the night, he's got visions when it comes to gambling. He can see those dice and stuff like that. Which is a kind of cool trait surrounding the character. So that's what I want to tell you. So that's why we picked up your Karamboni. It's like, that was a good story. Yeah. I had a guy who did a documentary about the guy who washes the block. Have you noticed this guy? Why does he do it? How does he do it? Yeah. Right? So, how many times in a month do they do it? Right? We take small things like that for granted, right? Because somebody does the job for us. Right? I had a guy who he was following the NEA where they put all the mosquitoes. Yeah, and then he found out that they are sending out male mosquitoes to kill the female mosquitoes. And what was it called? I forgot. This kind of mosquitoes that was released. And you don't believe me? Go check all the blogs. At first I didn't believe it until I read about it. And then she made it first. Then I read about it, like, hey, they have this killer mosquito that kills other mosquitoes too. Yeah. So they released it every Tuesday and Thursday. That's why Tuesday and Thursday there's a lot of mosquitoes running around. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Saturday, Sundays, no. And the idea is to control the bird, because when they procreate or something goes wrong with the egg. How cool is that? Right? So you see, documentary, the beautiful part about documentary is that once you realize the importance of your hypothesis and what you're doing, you will find out, or soon find out, that you will do things you never thought you would do. Like, for example, research. How to really get into the research. And then suddenly you discover something, hey, wait a minute, I'm onto something now. And then it leads, and it becomes a very interesting journey. And sometimes it gets you to places that you never expect that. So it is really, really cool leeway into filmmaking. And because it cannot be staged, idea is to be observant. Idea is to listen. That's why a lot of people, when they go out there and they say, teacher, I interviewed 30 people, but they all don't say anything. You know why? You interviewed, you didn't ask. You only ask one question, hoping for the answers to come, but you're not digging. You have to dig. Yeah, you said that, but how about this? What happens to this? And sometimes people digress. And no, yeah, that's important, but now the question is this. What did you do with this? So you have to be sure on what you want. In documentary, there's no I'm either good or bad. It's either you're good or you're bad. So which one is it? Either bad cop or good cop. There's no in betweens. All right? So if you start out and say that Karamboni is trade, so at the end of that documentary, it has a reason why it's a dying trade. It's a payoff. Because if not, people say, hey, what is this? Oh, part two. So be very careful with taking out stuff. Okay? So now, that's one way of looking at it. Okay, so documentary must be based on, portrait based on singular contributor whose story is happening in the present. Yeah. The film should feature an individual doing something practical or physical. This means that you have someone to interview on camera and something to film that gives you interest visual sequences to use as B-rolls. You know, what's a B-roll? A-roll, B-roll. A-roll is your interview, B-roll is what you can contribute to the A-roll. Yeah, images that you can fit when they say, you know, back in my days, and then you show back in my days, those kind of stuff. Yeah. For example, interview, you know, experience, older people about their experience in war would not be acceptable as they are not doing anything in the present days that you would have to use archive footages as B-roll. The older person running their first marathon should be acceptable because you will be telling the stories in the present. Okay, that's kind of cool. There's a lot of film training, build up, I don't know. Yeah, so that's easy. Yeah, see, let's see what else they want. Fictional film can be any genre, but must have one central, fully developed character. So the word here mentioned is genre. It is very genre. So what is genre? What is genre? We Google this. At least you're Googling. Some kids are playing computer game in my class. Until I find out. Dun, dun, dun. Genre has got anything with feelings, huh? Remember that. It's funny, it's romantic, it's scary. Your comedies, yeah, horror, action, yeah. Sometimes people genre commercial, huh? That's not a genre, that's a type of film. Okay, so there's a big difference. Each group must undertake ethical consideration with both projects. Ethical. So in your write-up, in critical log, you have to explain your ethical part to your documentary and your films. What is it? Yeah. Film must be realized using a single camera unless negotiated with your tutor. We will use your cameras so that you have more familiarity with it. Although that means there's more work for me because what models of cameras do you have? It's gonna be a long class. Yeah, but don't worry. Panic is on my side. Okay, film must be at least one film must be edited using Final Cut Pro. We don't have Final Cut Pro, so we will find, like I said, I think the best you can use is what are you guys all on? Oh, you go on iPads, right? Is this iPad? Okay, so what's an easier one to edit? Final Cut Pro? Okay, fine. CapCut. Okay, now you can try DaVinci if you want to go back to DaVinci because it's free. Or maybe you try downloading DaVinci and see whether you can work it. It says this. Well, I think DaVinci will give you a little bit more control than CapCut. CapCut is pretty much, it's basically used to
Straightforward.
very straightforward. Yeah.
DaVinci has more options.
Yeah. Yeah, we can use DaVinci, but if you choose to use CapCut, I'm not gonna stop you. Just so you know, but if you want, then take a look, just see whether, you will look at the similarity, which basically every software that you use for editing has the same thing. It has a timeline, it has a bank, and it's a monitor. It comes with effects, and it teaches you how to cut, snap, and ripple. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so if you understand that part, shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Both films should be edited, graded. What does it mean, graded? Color graded. Huh? So when we talk about color grading, think about continuity. Think about continuity. So if you're doing multiple cameras, make sure multiple cameras are all set to the same settings, especially the colors. Once you understand that, which is very simple, everything will look same. So we call this continuity. When something happens on that, continuity error. Okay, so we'll look on that. Sound mix on campus. Well, sound, you can try, what
Audacity. Audacity is also free, I think. Yeah. If you have a creative family going on, creative suite going on, creative suite going on, you can use Audition. Very powerful. You can do the multi-track to do your mixing. It'll be really cool. Yeah. There will be one, I don't know, you are expected to blah, blah, blah. In the Europa building, we don't have a Europa building here. There'll be one editor per group, which is you, and each group will deliver one version of each film only. This 30 seconds tolerance, I say don't bother about it. You just cut it to that 10 minutes and that 5 minutes. Yeah. Once you understand that, you will understand the importance of time, working to the timeline. My previous boss, my old boss used to tell me, hey, if I want it today, I want it yesterday. That's his style. So if I want it on the 31st, you better be there on the 29th. Yeah. So work with that, then you understand the importance of time. Achievement will be measured based on terms of professional technical standards and production. The degree of creativity, innovations, and ambitions will also be considered. Work will be formally assessed and students will receive informal peer and tutor feedback via screening and discussion. This can only happen if you shoot early and you show me stuff. And I say, hey, try to do that, do this, change that, we can do the whole feedback things better. But if you wait till the last rough cut and then you start showing me stuff, then that's a bit too late. So if you start shooting early, good. Don't wait till too late. Like I said, so I say, I'm hoping that by this year, your script for film is ready, your hypothesis is ready. Okay. You have these two things ready, you're good to go. From there, we can start building more stuff. But at least you know what your idea is supposed to look like. Most times, I tell students, if you have the start and you have the end in your mind, the center is easy. But if you don't have an ending, like how do you want to end this, how you want to start this, you will never start, you'll never end. Okay? Right? So individual student contribution will be accessed by criteria negotiated in the classroom session in the production. So these are your gradings, exceptional videos of analysis, which is your critical analysis, as well as some descriptive content, demonstrate exceptional application reflection, including constructive criticism of for self and others' growth. So because you're working together, when you write your critical logs, we can talk about, well, talk about your flaws. It's okay. Talk about your problems. Like, oh, I wasn't sure because I'm always with this CapCut person, but now Mr. Imran says, why don't you try DaVinci? And then obviously I download it and then I say, hey, you know what? It's not that bad. It's about the same and this. And then you see that is a progression in your post-production part. So when post-production comes, you'll be like, yeah, I thought it was hard, but it was easy to slice, ripple, snap, and then effects and this and that. So added advantage. They just want to see that students put in efforts in describing their journey. Okay. Demonstrate exceptional problem solving skills to investigate and interpret complex information, more towards your documentary. Yeah. So draw appropriate information conclusion, makes innovative recommendation decisions to practice, recognize most of the limitation of the work. So you see, for your critical log, there's a lot of things that you can write and use this as your, what do you call this? Reference. Yeah. So let me just stop this. Now, let me show you. Okay. Show that. So, as you can see, it's a short film by Sun Yeon Hyung, and this was done during COVID. The difference between what you're going to do and what this guy is doing, he went through hell. Because we had restrictions, we had diseases running around, people are dying, and he had to do a documentary for class. And he had to leave his family behind. He was a Malaysian. And he had to make that one call to cross or not to cross that border. And when he was doing this, I was in class with him. And that same very night, he didn't have a place to stay. He was one of those guys who slept at Kranji MRT in the night. And in the day, he would go to, what do you call this, a handicap toilet to shower. wash his clothes, and go to work, and not missing one class, not missing one day of work. This boy. Yeah. So his logline, a life struggle of a Malaysian worker in Singapore after 18 March 2020. Do you know what happens after 18 March 2020? COVID. They shut down the border that day. Yeah. So this is a story about him. He did this for his church because he realized that a lot of the people were lost in their directions. So he's a very staunch Christian. And he asked me, Chuck, can I do that for my fellowship and this and that? It's like, you know what? At this point in time, you can do anything. The fact that you're trying, I'm not stopping you. Yeah. So he did that. So this is his start of his concept proposal. Now, his synopsis. He tells us a little bit more of everything. A life struggle mission worker, Ethan, cross-border. So he worked with his girlfriend, who's not a student, but he had to help because there's nobody else that could help him. So he's the one acting, and he directs the girlfriend how to shoot, how to plan, how to do everything. So he was the director, producer, and the girlfriend helped him with the thing because he had to do, because the girlfriend can act in front, doesn't know what to do and bring the feeling out. So he had to do it. Yeah. Genre. Yeah. He made a mistake. I told him this is a type of film, not a genre. So this is a 7-minute short film biography. His target audience were at that time, I told him just find a specific. So when we find a specific, it's easy now. Back then, COVID was everybody. So foreign workers, working adults, families, anybody who's affected. This is it. Yeah, his potential client was his ministry. Yeah, so he writes it there. Look at his budget. Yeah, his budget, he breaks down all his costs from his scripts and rights, tripod, his transportation, terrible artists, anything that he can think about that would be used. For example, as simple as props, wardrobe, meals. He thought about it because, for example, I said to him, you have 5 of you. If you shoot for 3 days, 5 of you, one person eats 3 meals a day, right? You're working 8 hours, 3 meals a day, times 5, times 3. So now you get the proper numbers. Yeah. So insurance, transportation, his post-production. So he broke it down into pre-production, production, post-production. Okay. And then he shows us what equipment he uses. So he was using, he couldn't get a DSLR out during those times, so he used his phones. So I said, fine. I said, that's photojournalism anyways. Yeah. The crews that he will, even his boss is involved. Yeah, everybody, his friends, anybody that's working in that area, all involved. Yeah. So his actors releases, signed, dated, everything, read about, talent road release, his location. These are the locations that he shot. If you notice, HDB housing scene 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17. Because of the movement restriction times, he couldn't move so much. So on that day when he shot in this house, scene 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17 were all shot in one day. And then he moved to the next day, which is Little India, going to work, one scene. Warehouse in his office, one scene. Industrial Park, 9, 10, 13, 14. So when he goes to post-production, now he puts the number back together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. His location release forms, yeah, where he shot, what he did. His schedule, he showed me what day he can shoot, what day he cannot shoot. So the earlier you come up with your schedule, how you want to shoot, and you follow that schedule, the better, tighter your work becomes, because it's discipline. In this business that we are in, discipline is number one. As soon as you slack, that's it. And once you slack and there's money involved, everybody slacks. That's why they say it's like running a tight ship. Yeah. So his mood board, all this. These were actual footages. This was the actual night he was there. People were sleeping at the MRT station. Yeah. Now this is his script using Celtex. The first page is his cover page, A Bridge Too Far by him, and then his production company and his email. Yeah. This can be done in Celtex again, the one I said, CELTX. It's free. Take a look and you'll do it. And you'll see. I want you to notice this. You see how it starts out? Super. Inspired by true stories. Okay. Remember this. Super means black video. Inspired by a true story. And then newscaster. And then VO. Voice over. Somebody talking. And then it says remain open during the 2 weeks movement restriction order. People still continue to stock up and pile and then fade in. Just look at that. Okay, when we watch the video, you will see the exact same thing from here and sending over to the visual. Okay, so I told him 1 page is 1 minute. It's always, that's the basic. 1 page is 1 minute. So plan your 1 page to 1 minute. Okay, so he did about, yeah, so you see he's got a lot. So you see he's got his exterior HDB, exterior HDB, exterior industrial part. It means exterior. Interior INT, exterior EXT, yeah, interior MRT station, black screen, everything is explained. Yeah, then he's got a montage. Yeah. So he did a lot of work. So once he finished, this is the AV script. So if you did your storyboard, so this is storyboard number 1. Super inspired by true stories for the video. Audio is the voiceover of the newscaster. That's it. It's nothing crazy anymore. As long as you get your storyboard right and your script right, this one is just a checklist of stuff going down. Okay. He had a total of, I think, 68 shots, 68 boxes. So to make things easier for him, what he did was he also put a duration of time, 7, 14, 15. So when he adds on, he knows that he don't overruns. Okay. So now look at his storyboard drawn. Yeah. So you see, it starts out, the first story is inspired by true story, black, right? Super, remember? So that's the first one. Second one is footage cuts in. This is the newscaster, and then followed by your voiceover. So later when you watch the video, you will see the same thing happening. Okay. Okay, and then his difficulty and solutions that he did back then. His references, yeah, where he take all his clip, Channel News Asia and whatnot. Now, let me just play you the video. Hold on.
Still continue to stock up on Tuesday. And we have breaking news out of Malaysia. Malaysian Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin has announced a nationwide lockdown. People still continue to stock up on Tuesday. And we have breaking news out of Malaysia. Malaysian Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin has announced a nationwide lockdown to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. It will take effect from Wednesday until the end of the month.
Flow is lagging.
People still continue to stock up on Tuesday. And we have break.
Let me see if I can bring this into, I can open it there with better. Hold on, huh?
Open during the 2-week movement restriction order, people still continue to stock up on Tuesday. And we have breaking news out of Malaysia. Malaysian Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin has announced a nationwide lockdown to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. It will take effect from May until the end of the month.
Watch how he uses fade in and fade out later on in one frame.
you have dialed cannot be reached at the moment.
Into black, which is also in script. Super again.
The Woodlands Mongolians were secondly were quiet today as all Malaysians were barred from traveling abroad.
请在乘搭公共交通时避免与他人。
Station 万国。
We are very sorry to inform you that the company will reduce the salary of all employees by 30%.
But how am I supposed to survive on this amount?
We understand that it is a very difficult time for everyone, but you have to understand this. Our company is also having a hard time in this situation. Oh, by the way, we need you to sign on the form to show that it is everyone's consensus for this arrangement. Thank you.
Leaving out a bag. He was telling me, I'm leaving out a bag, Chen. Choice of music and the background music. Slow motion to slow it down for effects.
Everything's about this recording. Goodbye.
Hello，哎哥，我的屋主同意让你过来住了，说你不用到处搬了啦，说看你几时过来让我知道啦。
Finally. The most expensive commodity, toilet paper.
Dear Lord, thank you for giving me the strength and the faith to keep going. Thank you for your guidance and the protection along the way. I thank you for the doors that open. And thanks for those who are close. Please watch over my parents as you have watched over me. Keep them safe and healthy until I meet them again.
until I meet them again. So you see, all that paperwork just to produce this. What do you think? Easy? Let's just give up like, no. He said the same thing. It was not easy. But once he understood his paperwork, it became easy. Because the instructions were clear. As long as you build those instructions, what you need to shoot, how you need to shoot it, you understand the different values of different shots, it will be easy. Yeah. So yes, everything starts out a little bit tougher than it's supposed to be. But I'm sure you can do it because it's been done before. The next time I see you, well, not today, but next classes, there are other student work that I'll slowly show you as we go along, and you get to get an idea of what to expect. So this is something which I said, again, this was done through tough times. Today, you don't have that. You can go anywhere you want to, get whatever you need. There was so much restriction. This was tough. This one I had to ban a lot of things because I wanted students to be on the camera, not in front of the camera. Yeah, but I understand his idea behind this because if I directed it, nobody could do the things that I want to do because my girlfriend got definitely not gonna act. And she's gonna screw up anyways. So I might as well be in front and I tell her just hold the camera like that for how many seconds I tell her to now change. I said, okay. Yeah. So again, not something that is so easy. Yeah. Not something that's so easy, but if you put your mind and soul to it, definitely workable. Yeah. So 1 second, let me see if I can find something else. Here's another student work, which I think I should put it. Oh man, should I? Let me see if I can just drag this into my. Where is this work? Wait. That's Lucas's work. This one was also in. It's uploading in a second. This one was also this next one was done in between of COVID. In between. And this boy and his friend now work for a very famous influencer in Singapore, Chinese guy. That's all fun stuff. But famous. And yeah. But he had help from me because I keep pushing him because I saw potential in him handling the camera and directing. So I think, oh, push. Play with the lights, push. And yeah, he came out different. And he's just like, man, Simran, sometimes I thought you was going to kill me, but I understand why you did it. So if I pushed you, it's not because I hate you. Just remember that. I push you because I just need that to switch. And when that switch and you're on your own, you know what to do already. But it's a lot of. Yeah. So a little bit more should be done. Yeah. So the second class, after this, you just go for a quick break. I'm so back. And then start brainstorming your ideas. So if there's anything that you want to take it as a consultation class, but start to build the idea fast. Okay. And tomorrow we start session number 1, which is your documentary understanding the 6 modes of documentary, how to approach. Okay. Are we done yet? This guy is always into sci-fi and Matrix and this and that. So he was always telling me, what if, teacher, what if? There's a lot of what ifs. Wait, was he not up? No. Hey, what's this more?
We look for exits all around. We look for exits all around us, often far and wide, pushing hope to its brink. I found mine near.
Information.
The president will be moving forward with a countrywide lockdown at midnight. And as a Secretary of State, I will be doing everything in my power to help him, and so will you. We will host the press conference an hour before lockdown, notifying the public so that we can contain the virus within our borders and not let it spread to other countries.
Yeah, hi. Can I get a cab at my location? 755-453. Yes, Serato. Okay,
That's the fastest
Okay.
we've ever answered.
4 minutes. okay, thank you.
Watch the camera trail down. Show edgy. The one part. Get a line with it. But camera goes in here.
Hi,
and
sir.
out the other
Where
side.
to? The eastbound launching ramp. I don't think they have boats there anymore, sir. Just drive. So,
So that camera went through the car. That was the transition to cut to a new location straight away. And sound effect with the ambient sound. Goes down. The use of the blue light is good, huh? To create a drama.
was there any boats there? No. We'll drop it back. Okay, fine. Get it. Thank you.
Fade to black, change location. That's the part of traveling. Sort of weird imagination is going. But he had fun.
I've been expecting you.
You go on the path, you see Breaking Bad, the advertisement, look at the color code to this one. Then you'll know who decided to do the light.
Welcome to my world.
Oh, not hard, right? Stop thinking it's hard, it's not. It's easy, actually. It's just that you think too much. But again, everything starts with a plan. So when these guys were doing it, I forced them to really think. And then when they proposed, they sold the idea, I tortured them, I butchered them, like, I don't understand this, tell me again, what's this, what's that, why do you do this, why do you do that, show me a storyboard, open it up again, now why is this shot like that, why is it? To the point that they understood why they do it. But the idea is not to torture you, the idea is to make you realize the importance of your action. But sometimes what we do is, we assume that it's okay because present, for the sake of presenting. But when you remember this, when you go into a real pitch room, all those sharks are waiting to come and get you. And the line of people who's outside this room trying to get money from them is a whole mile long. If the budget, imagine this, if the budget was 1 trillion, do you deserve 1 million to make money? To make your films? Yes. Why give it to somebody else? You get it. But in order to get that, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to fight for that idea, to make it rock solid. And for example, I used to do this in a lot of classes where I like, and I don't like. Salvage more. How do you change and flip the screen to work to what I want? And you must be able to sell ice to Eskimos. Eskimos, right? They have the most best ice ever, right? In their house. And here you are telling them that I've got a better block of ice than you. So it's as if you're selling ice to Eskimos. Know everything at the back end. If I ask you, for example, is there a sound effect here? Yes. Why? What sound effect is it? It's blah, 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 blah to entice to do this. If you're using a background music, why? If you're using ambient music, why? So we question all this. Yeah. So I want you to think that way. So later when you start thinking ideas, 2 separate slides that you have. Okay. First, think of what do you want to do for your documentary or your film. But think which one it's easier first, then work the other way around. Yeah. For me, I will prep the documentary first because it's the hardest. A lot of people will prep it easy first. I will go for the hardest one because then I can take that with someone else. Yeah. So they say find somebody who is interesting. So something that I can recommend you or think about is anybody who is doing something unique in your area of space that you think deserves a little bit of recognition. One of the things that one of my students did before, and then he went to Channel News Asia to become a reporter, was he filmed an ice cream. If you go to Sin Lim Power, but he passed away, Uncle passed away. There used to be a guy who sells ice cream, bottle, cut ice cream. Yeah. So this man, he was the documentary for my students. And that was something that I said was interesting because, again, dying trades. If you're looking for something else, you can look for cobblers. So after this, now you can go, you can leave your stuff if you want to get something, come back later. I think next is 3:30, right? 3:15 presentation. You can come back at 3:30 or earlier, and then we can start already and then get into your planning mode already. So this next session is you planning stuff, and then ask me any question you want and I'll consult with you. Because just 2 of you, so still a lot of time. Okay, don't have to worry. And then think about roles that you have to play for each other. That means how to help each other. Okay? And so There's a lot of sighing going on.